Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Brittney Elena and Tony Gonzalez about Long Slow Exhale, which is premiering April 4th on Spectrum. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Brittney, I'm really enjoy this series, and Corinne has a very interesting storyline, in my opinion, because, you know, there's a lot of players on the team that have this dynamic where she's focused on the relationships with her teammates, but then it also focuses on the relationship with her family as well. There's kind of two things going on here. I'm curious, what's that like for you, where, you know, it's very complex, and she's involved with a lot of kind of storylines and issues with her family and her friends and her teammates as well.
Yeah, I would say it's complex, but not really. I think that it's kind of a balance, because with home, I would say there's pressure at home, but being with her teammates, it's more so like a free flowing relationships. You know, they always tease her, of course, for being like the rich girl, but they still accept me, and they know who I am. They know what I deal with when it comes to my father, and they try to make me feel more comfortable being around. And but it's basically a balance.
Absolutely. Tony, is it interesting on one hand where, you know, you're a former pro athlete, you know, you join a show that focal point a little bit is about sports. You look at the other spectrum of things. It's not about sports. It's about life and about a lot of serious issues. I'm curious if you noticed that a little bit when you sign on to a project. It's like a tale of two shows a little bit, basically.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're exactly right. That's why I wanted to play the part. That's why I was so happy to get the part, because of course, a lot of people are going to say, well, you play an ex-football player who was really good. And I'm like, okay, go for yes. Okay. So it was easy to relate from that standpoint. But what I loved was how layered Desmond was, and how, as a family man, and how important his daughter is to him and everything that they've been through together, and wanting the best out of her, and you know, dealing with that, and then going through some things himself, questioning himself, where is he getting it right, where is he getting it wrong, and trying to double down on that. So I love the layers of Desmond, and the opportunity to play it. It's much more than just being an ex-football player. It's about the love and passion to be a good dad, and to be a good example, and to get the most out of your daughter.
And Brittney, did you notice that a little bit too, about like the whole dynamic of it? Like, it's about basketball, but then there's some, like, sometimes I'm watching the show and I kind of forget it's about basketball because it's focusing on a lot of other things.
Yes, that's what makes it even more amazing, because there's so many different storylines in it.
Yeah.
And I just feel that it's going to be, a lot of people are going to be able to tune in so many different aspects and want to see like what's next, and they're going to be surprised about what's going to happen when they watch the show.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, Tony, you've like post your NFL career, you know, you've acted on a lot of shows. This, and you know, and some movies as well. This is a very complex character, like you said, Desmond, and everything. Any like preparation or anything you really wanted to do before you kind of stepped into that role specifically with this character?
Yeah, well, I mean, normal things when you're acting, you try to see where you identify with the character you're going to be playing, okay, and then where you're different too. And how can you close that gap and make it more real and make it more natural? It's like he's Desmond is very flamboyant and kind of very, very, very confident, where that's not really my personality. Yeah. And the way he talks to his daughter, to Corinne, I don't really speak to my children that way. For the most part, I try to approach it more delicate and more softly. And so you have to do the research, okay, and trying to get into that frame of mind. And I don't know, I hope it's not sounding corny, but it all comes from like a deep passion, a deep love for your family, and kind of honing in on, okay, I need to make sure that she knows how much I love her, but then also we also need some discipline here, because, you know, anything can happen. Let's make sure that we're getting the most out of ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Brittney, Tony, thank you both so much for your time. April 4th, it's premiering on Spectrum, Long Slow Exhale. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Peter.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.